First, we'll open the driver's side door. Right where you see the steering, underneath the steering is a hood latch that needs to be pulled out. Once the latch is pulled, you would notice the hood losing its grip. On top of the logo, there is a lever right there that we need to press and hold and then lift the hood upwards. This is that lever that I was talking about. Press and hold this lever towards the left side and then lift up the hood. Now we gently take the support bar and then place it in that hole right there. Once the hood is opened, right there is the battery. This is the negative terminal and this is a positive terminal. So we will take out the negative terminal first, and here I will be using a 10mm wrench. Now we will not be taking it out completely, we will just be losing it to a point until it loses its grip, and then we can just pull out the terminal. Just like that, the terminal is taken out. Negative terminal taken out. Now we will take out the positive terminal. There's that nut for the terminal that we're supposed to lose. Again, we will not be taking out the nut completely, just losing it to a point until the terminal loses its grip, and then we can just pull out the terminal. We'll just lose it a little bit more. This should be enough. And there we were able to pull out the positive terminal. Both terminals are taken out. Now from the engine side, we'll take out this nut first. Here I'm using impact gun with a 10mm socket, but you can also use a round head ratchet with a 10mm socket if you want. This is one of the nuts that will be completely taken out, and be careful while taking it out. There is a possibility you could lose it while taking it out. You see the frame on top is still not losing its grip because it's holding onto it right there. We'll also need to take out that one nut which is right besides. There we got both the nuts from that corner, and while taking them out, make sure both of them are not falling apart. Once you take out these two nuts, there's also one screw on top that also needs to be taken out because it's holding onto the battery and the frame. Again, I'll be using this gun to make the process much faster, and here I'm using the gun without the extension. There's that screw along with that bracket taken apart. Now to pull the battery out, what you have to do is just slide this top frame a little on the corner. Just like that. This framing does not need to be taken out completely. It's okay to stay where it is, and we will just slide it towards the corner. We'll just keep that frame like that, and now we will pull out the battery. Make sure the terminals are not holding onto the way of it, and holding with both arms, we will slightly pull out the battery completely. Here we got the new battery, and we'll be installing it right there. To install the battery, we will make sure nothing is coming in the way of it. Both terminals and the frame are supposed to be on the corner. So while holding both terminals and the frame, we will not be able to pull the battery down. And in this case, you may need someone's help to hold on to the stuff, and then you can slide down the battery. So here I got a hand from my helper, and now I will punch in the battery in that spot. Once the battery is in place, then we will install the bracket along with that frame which was right here. Some battery sizes might be different, so you may have to adjust that nut right there. Now see, it's a little bit tight here, so we will have to loose this nut a little bit so that we could have enough room to place that frame on top of it. Using the gun, I will loose the nut first. Will not be taking out the nut completely, just losing it until the frame on top is free and is okay to be installed. Then from the other side, we'll punch in the frame inside that long screw right there. You may have to work your way out until you get it inside that hole. Once it's in, then we will punch in the nut first. We will leave it to this point and then come back to it to tighten that later. Then we get this bracket and then install it on top of that frame. Also punch in the nut for the frame portion. Again, will not be tightening it completely, just making it sure it's installed first. Now we will install the nut that was right there. Alright, so everything seems to be in place. Now we will go ahead and tighten all of that one by one. So the first thing, we will tighten the frame, making sure it's positioned properly. Tight from there, tight from here. Notice the battery is not shaking. And now we will tighten the bracket portion. We'll tighten the nut portion first, and then I will tighten the screw portion later. Okay, it seems perfectly fine and installed firm and strong. Now we get to the terminals. We'll install the positive terminal first. Make sure the terminal's all the way down, and then we will go ahead and tighten the nut for that terminal. Would not recommend using the gun, and instead use wrench to tighten that nut right there. Again, the tool is 10mm wrench that we are using here. Honestly, there is no right or wrong limit. We just tighten that nut to a point until we notice that the terminal on top is not shaking anymore. Like in this case, we have tightened that enough and the terminal is not moving anymore, so this is good. Now we will go ahead and tighten the negative terminal. We will punch in the terminal first, making sure it's all the way down. If you notice it's not going down completely, you can also lose it first, making sure it's all the way in position, and then go ahead and tighten that nut. Seems like this is the limit and it's not going down anymore. Now we go ahead and tighten that nut right there. With both the terminals installed firm and strong, with that we are done with the replacement of the battery for this car. Now suppose you want to close the hood back. Just lift the hood upwards and then take out the support bar. We put it back to its place. We'll need to bring down the hood up until the middle, and to close the hood properly, we will need to leave the hood from the middle with a slight push. If it still does not close the way we did, then you may have to push it from the top until it closes completely. If this video helps you in any way, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel. Here are the list of tools used for this takeout.